Good morning, everyone. Boy, oh boy, I am under the pump this morning. Sorry I'm late. I am 2 minutes late, and there's a good reason for it. Let me tell you. Russ Longson just emailed me, everyone. Hey, happy Mother's Day, everyone. To all the mums out there, happy Mother's Day. Hope you have a wonderful day. And that's why I'm late. I've just been out in the shed doing a Bucks Big Breakfast for Mother's Day for Roz, and she's out there eating at the moment. I literally just got the food into her, made a coffee, had a tinkle, and looked at the phone. It was 9 o'clock. So I've literally only just finished out in the shed cooking Mother's Day breakfast for Roz. Me and Rafa were out there cooking. So Jennifer G, happy Mother's Day to you and all the mums out there. Slackens on, Burko, Jack Turtle. Who else we got? Lynn Rogers. See you at the Townsville 4-wheel drive show. Lynn, I think you said you were going to come there and say g'day, which would be good. Logan, g'day, mate. How are you? Pump Koala, g'day, Toddy. Ross Halliwell, g'day, Ross. Wixie. Steve and Annie are on, guys. And Winnie and Jasper, g'day, Steve. How are you, mate? Marky Lavelle. We'll talk about the footy soon, mate. Me and Mark were talking to each other on text last night during the Cowboys game. What a great game of footy that was. Wow. My nerves have only just settled down, Mark, from that one. That was what a game of footy, mate. Wow. Camp and Oz, g'day, mate. How are you? Thanks for tuning in today. Special day, isn't it? Sunday, the 11th of May, Mother's Day, everyone. So be good to your mums. Make sure you get on the phone. I'm not even ringing mine yet. Mum will still be in bed, and even when I do ring her, she's deaf and cannot hear a word I say. But I'm going down to Townsville on Wednesday to see Mum then. So, but I'll try and ring Mum the Savo. I had to literally pick the phone up, "Hi, Mum!" and just scream into it because she doesn't wear a hearing aid at home. She wears it at work, but deaf as a doorpost. And when I go home, I just got to scream. And then Nutty and that go, "Oh, stop screaming." Trying to talk to Nan, mate. She can't hear me. So Karen's on. G'day, Karen. Hope you's all enjoyed the Sydney Super Show. I think they call it down there at Rose Hill. Is it Rose Hill out there near the race? Is it the racetrack out there? They must, if it's anything like Townsville, they do it at where the V8s go, Reed Park there. So they usually have those caravan shows at a race course or somewhere with a big area where they can set everyone up. CJ Wall, g'day, mate. How are you? Saying g'day to Timmy. Timmy Ryan's on, I think. I saw Tim's name there before. G'day, Tim. How are you, mate? Steve Richard, Richo, morning all. Said happy Mother's Day to Mum yesterday. Good stuff, mate. And make sure you do, everyone. Boy, oh boy, you know, you think about all the stuff that Mum used to do for us, as when we were kids, bringing us lunch to school, taking us to footy training. Although Mum didn't do a lot of that. We used to, back in my day, we rode our push bikes everywhere, guys. But, yeah, just they go above and beyond our mums, don't they? And they this is their special day. So make sure you get on the phone, go around. I'm sure you're doing something there. If you're like me and don't live near your mum, at least pick up the phone and say happy Mother's Day, eh? Happy Mother's Day to Sue, Lukey Reid. I'm sure Lukey will catch up with his mum today. They don't live far apart down there in Launceston. I'm sure Lukey will go around, and hopefully you've gone around and made Mum breakfast, Luke, or you're going to cook a dinner or cook her a nice lunch or take her out to lunch. Do something nice for Mum. I've met Lukey's mum, everyone. Lovely lady. Lovely parents. Ryan and Sue. Ivan and Lisa. Lisa, happy Mother's Day to you. Jace Mull is on. Slacken, happy Mother's Day to all your mums in your family too, mate. Julie and all the mums. Even Nan, who was 100 the other day. Wow. That was wonderful seeing those photos, mate. Absolutely amazing. Jack Turtle saying happy Mother's Day to Jennifer G, who's a mum as well, as I said before. Hope you're having a great day. Hope Robbie's doing something for you. Jennifer, hope Robbie's doing something for you, even if I don't know what Robbie can do for you, but I'm sure he'll try and do something for you. Jamie Fulton's listening while he drives. Been out for a buffet breakfast. That's the way to do it. A buffet breakfast. I tell you what, Roz just about got a buffet breakfast this morning, and you should see the mess I've left in the shed, everyone. Unbelievable. Wild Track Weekender. G'day, mate. G'day, Buck, and happy Mother's Day to all the mums. Yeah, absolutely, Wild Track. What a great day it is. Special day of the year, isn't it, for all our mums? I'm lucky. Me and Gidgy, guys, mum's still alive, dad isn't, but some of you out there may not have mum. So it's probably a sad day for some people out there that don't have their mums around anymore. Roz's mum's 92 or 93, so Roz's mum's still going. But I know there's people in the chat room that don't have mums. Just remember back on all the fond memories, eh? That's all we can do. When people, our pets and our family passes, just remember back on all the good times. That's what I do with Dad. Remember, and I was in the shed the other day, and I just started laughing to myself, thinking of some of the funny shit Dad used to do and used to make us laugh. And you always remember back to the good times, eh? Never remember the bad times. Always remember back to the good times. Slacken said, Buck the snake in the garage will eat whatever you left. Yeah, he'll have one of them sausages, mate, if I leave the lid off the camp oven. I got back from camping the other day, guys, and yeah, another big snake poo on the thing, and 1.8 metre snake skin. If you haven't seen my latest clip, the lasagna soup, I've got another doll's eye or night tiger in the shed. It's not a big deal. It just frighten you when they see you, because sometimes you can go to put your hand on a shelf and they'll be curled up on the shelf. And if they bite you, they're mildly venomous, and they can get cranky. And if you're like any snake, they don't get to attack you. But if you startle them or accidentally put your hand on them and that, they will bite you, guys. My mate Liam got bitten by one. It was up in the footwell of his car. Liam got bitten on the big toe by a night tiger. Not to be mistaken with a tiger snake. If he got bitten by a tiger snake on the big toe, he would have been in deep shit. The night tigers or the brown tree snake, doll's eye, a lot of them up here, mildly venomous. They won't kill an adult, but I'll tell you what, you wouldn't want a young kid getting bitten by it or a pet like Rafa or Crew. I Googled that. Can a doll's eye kill a small pet? And the answer was yes. So we've got to be very careful. Rafa won't go near him, but bloody Crew will. I saw a 6-foot carpet python. No, not 6 foot. He was bigger than that. Probably 8-foot carpet python out on the footpath one day, and his head was all mangled. I think Crew got it before it got Crew. She's a real hunter, that thing. Yeah, it was mangled head. So Crew must have gone out and said, I'm going to towel you up before you eat me. Probably big enough to eat Crew, actually, the python. It was a decent size and stink. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Rob the Wanderer's on. G'day, Rob. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Hope everyone can hear me and see me okay. I forgot to ask that. I got a bit too excited. I was in a rush this morning. Everything. I got up, set the alarm for 6:30, got up and went, I'm going to have a sleep in. Then it was 7. Then I had a shower. And then before you know it, I was under the pump to get everything set up in the shed and get everything outside for the cook up. And I literally got back into the house at 9 o'clock, guys. Marky Lavelle's out having brekkie too, is he? Heading to breakfast now. Catch up later. Yeah, Mark. Enjoy. I'm sure you're taking the missus out for breakfast, mate, or maybe mum. So, yeah, you'll have a wonderful breakfast, and I'm sure a lot of you are out there on Mother's Day. So, you know, there's probably a lot of people who can't come on the live feed this morning because they are out having Mother's Day breakfast at a nice little cafe or something. Roz and I went to a cafe up at Holloway's Beach the other day. Forget the name of it now. Boy, oh boy, it's a great little, right on the seaside there, one of the northern suburbs of Cairns. And we had a bacon and scrambled eggs and a sausage on the side and toast and that and a nice coffee. And it was bloody beautiful. Roz and I love doing that, guys, going out and having a nice breakfast, having a coffee, having a nice breakfast somewhere. I'm not a big brekkie person, I must admit. At home, I don't normally eat. That's my breakfast. But I do enjoy going out about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and having a nice breakfast at a cafe. I really enjoy that. Always have scrambled eggs. I can't do runny eggs. I'll vomit everywhere. Anyway, we'll do a few more shout-outs. Who have I missed there? I think I've just about got everyone. How many's on? 83. That's more than I thought. I thought most of you would be out. I think Nick Taylor. I haven't said good morning to you yet, mate. Good morning, Nick. Hope you're well. Timmy Ryan, I have. Lorna McMillan. I don't think I've said g'day to Lorna yet. G'day, Lorna and family. Hope you're having a good Mother's Day too, Lorna. No, that's a Gidgey's on. G'day, Gidge. I was just telling everyone. I said I'm not going to ring Mum yet. She won't be out of bed yet. And if she ever does answer a mobile phone, which is rarely, g'day Rob, how are you? You've got to scream into the phone, and Mum can't hear anyway. So anyway, me and Gidge will give Mum a ring a bit later on. Our Mum, guys, I keep saying it. She's 84 in August, and she's still nursing full time. I don't know how she does it. She's just a tough old battle axe. She really is. Nearly 84 and still nursing full time. Still keeping up with the young ones. She said, young ones can't keep up to me when it's making beds and all that. She said, I'll put them to shame. She's a tough old bow. Mine is, she comes back from a 10-hour shift looking like death warmed up, Mum. I said, Mum, hang the boots up. She refuses to do it because she thinks she's going to die. So have text Mum, tailed or I'll ring this afternoon. Yeah, absolutely. Hope you're good, Rob. Both Robs are on. Rob Richmond and Rob Jemison, guys. Rob the Wanderer. And those amazing blankets. Yeah, absolutely, Rob. And Mum sits there, and that's Mum's life, guys. She goes to bed, sleeps, gets up, goes to work, still does shift work, still does day shifts and afternoon shifts, get home at 11 o'clock at night. She doesn't do the midnight shifts anymore. They take it out of her too much. And then when she's sitting at home, she just puts the TV on, watches a documentary or whatever. And while she's watching the TV, she crochets those rugs for Hope in a suitcase. That's Mum's life. And then go shopping for some food. That's about all Mum does now. But that's what she enjoys doing. Mum's never been one to go on holidays and do all that. Anyway, Mum's older sister passed away the other day, Auntie Gwen. 99, Auntie Gwen was. Auntie Gwen, so... Gidgey, or Ken told me this actually. Apparently, they're not going to have a funeral for Auntie Gwen. I don't know. Our family's a bit like this too, guys. We didn't have a funeral for Dad. Dad said, I don't want a funeral. And I've told Roz the same. I do not want a funeral. I know a lot of you are probably thinking that's a bit strange. What we do, but with Dad, he got cremated. And then we had a family get together in Brisbane, and we had a nice little ceremony out at Biddy's house, and Dad's ashes are in Biddy's rose garden. Bid goes out in the afternoon, has a drink, says, G'day, Uncle Des, and all that type of stuff. So, and we had a beautiful little family ceremony for Dad. And I think that's what they're going to do for Auntie Gwen as well. Going to spread her ashes with Uncle Ned, where Uncle Ned's ashes are spread. Uncle Ned, guys, infantry in World War II and fought the Japs up on Kokoda. You'll remember Uncle Ned. What a wonderful man he was. You think back to all your uncles and aunties and all that are gone now, guys, and I just think if they came back now, they'd be very, very disappointed with the way this country has gone. Don't want to really get onto that this morning. We might later on talk a bit of how the country's going. I don't think not much is going to change, eh? 99, yeah, Auntie Gwen was 99. She didn't quite make 100. It would have been good. She was just starting to get dementia. Auntie Betty, Mum's other sister, has got dementia. Auntie Betty, and Mum's still got all her marbles. Mum is sharp as a tack still, guys. Mum's 84 in August. She's the youngest of the family. All her brothers are gone now. Uncle Ken and Uncle Bert, they died before I was even born. Mum's was the youngest in the family. Auntie Gwen was the oldest of the sisters. So there's only her and Auntie Betty left now, and Auntie Betty's got dementia. So, yeah, we don't live forever, do we, everyone? So Auntie, it'll be a sad day for Wayne and Jeff and Sharon, buddy, without Auntie Gwen there, our cousins. So their first Mother's Day without Auntie Gwen there. So, as I said, Mother's Day can be sad for some people, but remember back to the fond times, everyone. Remember back to the fond times. Righto, let's get into it. Let's get into some footy scores so far. Roz's Dolphins had a win on Thursday night over Marky Lavelle's Eels, everyone. Marky would have been throwing shit at his TV because the Eels went down again to Roz's Dolphins. I'll tell you what, the Eels almost came back and snatched it at full time. Right on the last play, I thought, Parramatta's going to score here. And the hammer, guys, just cut it. I forget who was it? Dylan Brown or something. He mowed him down within 5 steps. The hammer is blistering fast when he wants to be. The hammer saved that try with just pure speed. And anyway, the Dolphins hung on to a 20-16 win. So the Dolphins needed to win that one. Big upset, guys. All the Newcastle boys, they'll be throwing shit at their TVs as well. Newcastle Knights I didn't see this game, were 20-0 up over the Gold Coast Titans. They were 20-0 up and they choked and lost 24-20. The Titans came up and had a win. Big Tino Fasua-Malawi, their captain, he got them home. 24-20. So Newcastle's got some problems, everyone. Newcastle's got some big problems. And I'll tell you what, their coach is not happy. Adam O'Brien, or whatever his name is, he was not happy. He was giving it to his players. Really was. Now, what about this game on Friday night? South Sydney Rabbitohs, everyone, 22, Broncos 14. The Broncos, another team that's got big problems. Hey, how's Kevy? Kevy must be sitting back now on Sky News, not Sky News, on KO Sports. He's a good commentator, Kevy. Him and Andrew Voss called the Cowboys game last night. Those two together are really, really good. I love watching KO. And Vossi and Kevy together, really good commentators. They really make it interesting. But anyway, Kevy was the previous Broncos coach and he got the sack. And he's now with KO Sports as a commentator. And he's a really laid-back bloody guy, Kevy. He makes a good commentator too, just quietly. Rabbits, 22. Now, it was 14 all with a couple of minutes to go. And Latrell Mitchell, guys, I'm not a big fan of Latrell, but boy, oh boy, every now and then he does some amazing shit. He got the ball on halfway and did a drop kick, and everyone thought, what's he doing? She went over from 49 metres out, a drop goal straight over the black dot for a 2-point field goal and won the game for the Rabbits. But he wasn't finished there. Right on the very last play, Latrell picked the ball up at dummy half, right near the try line, went down to a knee, and the Broncos just thought, oh, Latrell's just submitted, end of the game. And Latrell went and put the ball over. It was a bit sneaky, but the Broncos didn't play the whistle. Play the whistle right up to full time. I'm going to put a poll up in a minute, guys, about that. I'm going to do it now. I'm talking about it, so I'll put it up. Start a poll. All you Victorians, you'll be throwing shit at your TVs going, stop talking about rugby league, but no, that's what I love it. I love it. And Marky Lavelle sent a message to me last night. He goes, shit, I love rugby league because last night's game between the Cowboys and Penrith was a nail-biter, an absolute nail-biter. And Marky Lavelle said, shit, I love rugby league. And I said, so do I, mate. When it's a good, close game, I love it. It's a great game. And as Vossi and Kevy Walters said last night, it's the best game in the world. Phil Gould keeps saying that too. Gus has been in the football scene for 50 years. Gus Gould, guys. Some people don't like Gus. I like Gus. I think he's great for rugby league. He is Mr. Rugby League. Now that Ray Warren's gone, greatest commentator ever. Phil Gould's there, player, coach, and now in the media and that. Just he's legendary, and I don't think rugby league would be the same or where it is now without Phil Gould, guys. He is a very, very smart man, very knowledgeable man, knows the game, and I think he's a very humble, down-to-earth sort of man as well. We don't like him north of the border because he's a cockroach, but you've got to give him his dues. He's a great rugby league personality, Phil Gould, or Gus as they call him. Now, ask a question. Was Latrell too sneaky? Now, what I mean by that, everyone, do you reckon Latrell should have done that? For those who saw the game, like he kind of took a knee as if to go, right, it's full time. Broncos didn't play the whistle. Latrell went over and put the ball down and got awarded the try. Broncos had kind of switched off. They knew they'd already lost the game by 2 points. And then they switched off, didn't play the final play right on full time. Latrell put the ball over, and the Broncos went, "Oh, come on, mate. We thought it was full time." Well, it wasn't. The whistle hadn't gone. So, was Latrell a bit sneaky, or was he justified doing that? He was absolutely justified doing that. Yeah, it was a bit sneaky, I think. It was within the rule of the game. It was within the rules of the game. Absolutely it was. Broncos didn't play the whistle. Was it a bit sneaky? Yeah, I don't know. A bit of me's probably thinking, come on, Latrell. You saw the boys had switched off and probably you'd already won the game. But then again, for and against, those extra 6 points, those extra 6 points that the Rabbits got because of that play could get them into the top 8 on for and against. So those 6 points could become very important later in the season when it comes to semi-final time for and against. So that's probably what Latrell's thinking of as well. It was sneaky, but it was within the rules of the game. The Broncos had already switched off. They were a bit dejected, the Bronx, after Latrell sunk that bloody 49-metre field goal. So that was another great game of football, everyone. South Sydney Rabbitohs 22, Broncos 14. They got some problems, the Bronx. Jennifer reckons it was a good move. Nikki, okay, Nikki, happy Mother's Day to you, Nikki. They gave up the game. It was legal. Yeah, absolutely. Mike Blakely, g'day, Mike. How are you? Yes, exactly right, Mike. If I was the Broncos coach, there'd be a lot of people at training next week doing a lot of 400-metre sprints. Weren't they a great punishment? Starting off with all your mistakes from the weekend, starting off with every mistake, a 400-metre. And that'll sort them out. 400-metre them until they can't run anymore. And then go, that's going to continue to happen until your attitude changes, everyone. The Broncos have got some attitude problems. They got some good players. They're not playing as a team. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if the Michael Maguire, the new coach, they're going on about, Kevy's lost the players. Well, it wasn't Kevy's problem, was it? Looking back now, Kevy wasn't the problem. It was the players, and it always is. Normally. Jamie's back on now. G'day, Jamie. How are you? Saying g'day to Buck and everyone. I hope you're not driving and typing that as you drive. Now, here we go. Is Russ on? Russ's Bulldogs, guys. They've only lost one game this year. Russ's Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, 32, beat Canberra Raiders 20. Canberra were at home and have been winning some games. But I'll tell you what, the doggies, guys, are the real deal. And Russ is getting a bit too excited. Russ is getting overexcited, everyone. The Dogs have been down the bottom for a lot of years. They had a good year last year. Just missed out on the semis, I think, or just got in the semis. Lost the first semi-final. But this year, they're on top of the ladder. Okay, I still think they're going to go through a patch where they come down to earth, but it hasn't happened yet. We're about to go into we're in week 10 now, aren't we? And they've only lost one game. The Doggies, guys, they're the big team on the block, the big dog on the block, the Bulldogs, 32-20. Now, I didn't see this game yesterday. I was out doing a cook-up and everything, doing my lasagna soup. If you haven't watched that one, that stuff was bloody beautiful. We'll talk about it later. The Warriors got up by 1 point. New Zealand Warriors. Phil Weber is Phil on over the ditch. The Warriors 15, St. George 14. St. George are another team that are just hit and miss everyone, aren't they? You don't know what team's going to turn up. That wasn't in extra time either. It was a field goal earlier going, probably 5 or 6 minutes before full time. And the Warriors got over and had a win in Australia, had a win away from home. So whenever you can have a win away from home, it's always a good one. Now, last night, what a great game of football. I thought we were gone, guys. The Cowboys, the young Robert, the young PNG lad, I'll think of his name in a minute. Robert Derby for the Cowboys made he almost lost that game single-handedly for the Cowboys. Couldn't catch a cold last night. The ball had funnel web spiders on it every time it come near him because he couldn't catch it. He had a really bad game in like catching the ball, hopeless, and caused us a couple of tries from Penrith. Anyway, I thought we're gone. Cowboys came back, and when they throw the pill around those guys, they are an exciting football team. When Scotty Drinkwater and Tommy Dearden start running the ball, and Jake Clifford and Jackson Purdue out in the centres, what a good little player he is. He's going to be a superstar in the May. He's going to play for Queensland. He's already been named as a fringe player for the Origin team. He's going places, that young lad. And they came back. And it was 30 all at full time. It went to Golden Point, 5 minutes each side. The Cowboys had 4 chances to put a field goal over and win the game. They could not put it over. So it ended up after Golden Point, after 90 minutes of football, 30 all. So it was a draw, and they got a point each. Great game. North Queensland and Penrith guys who have won the last 4 premierships in a row. Cleary was there. They just about had their full team there last night, Penrith. And the Cowboys hung in there with them. The Cowboys are showing some promise. They've got some issues to fix up. Penrith kept punching through the advantage line all the time. But Cowboys have got to start driving them backwards a bit more. In attack, the Cowboys' attack is very good. They just sort their defence out. We can score points. We need to work on our defence. Jason Tamalolo didn't play last night. I think he would have made a big difference for the Cowboys, having big JT going forward. Great game of footy last night. It was nail-biter. It was one of those, I was in here punching the air, and when we scored that try to make it 30 all, my head nearly went through the roof. It was a great game of footy. Bloody, that's what rugby league's all about. Exciting, close games. And Golden Point, I thought if Cleary manages to get a shot at goal, he's going to put it over. Cowboys did well and didn't allow Penrith down that end of the ground in Golden Point time to let Cleary have a shot. Great game. Today we got the Melbourne Storm taking on the West Tigers down there that's in Melbourne, that game, everyone. And Paulie Martin's Manly are up against Cronulla. That'll be a good game, actually. Manly, Cronulla. Manly's at home. I fancy Manly in that game. I think Jake Trbojevic is back, is he? And Melbourne Storm against the Tigers. I'm going to take the Storm there at home. So there you go. There's the footy. And some more exciting news is Mr. Bullet on, everyone. Mr. Bullet, if you see this, you should be doing backflips, even though you're very, very old now. Mr. Bullet will be doing backflips, everyone. A real game is coming to Perth. Rugby League is coming back to Perth. They announced the other day that Perth is getting another rugby league team. As we know, back in the Super League days, it was the Western Reds, and that folded because there was we had the Super League going on. There's 2 types of competitions and that. So they didn't make it, but the Western Australian government has committed to $60 million or something like that to bring in, and they're going to be called the Perth Bears, everyone. They're bringing back, and everyone wanted the old North Sydney Bears to come back into the competition, the old Black and Reds. Well, that was never going to happen. There's enough Sydney teams as there is, but they're going to bring in the Perth Bears, and they're going to wear, I dare say they'll have the same logo, Perth Bears. They'll wear red and black, the same as the old North Sydney Bears did, which were, I think, one of the original 1908 teams, maybe. The North Sydney Bears, one of the original 1908 teams. Don't quote me on that. I know the Roosters and Souths definitely were. And Newtown. I'm not quite sure about North Sydney. I think they came in a couple of years after 1908. Anyway, they've been out of the competition for many years now, but they're coming back in under a different name called the Perth Bears. Western Australia, you're getting the NRL guys. You're getting rugby league over there. It's going to be fantastic for Perth. It's going to be absolutely fantastic for Perth. Not sure what stadium they're going to play at. It'll need to be maybe a special stadium with not an Aussie Rules stadium. So you're going to have the Western Force in Rugby Union. You're going to have the West Coast Eagles and the Fremantle Dockers in the Aussie Rules. And in Rugby League, in the NRL, you're going to have the Perth Bears, guys. So best of everything. If you're a sports nut over in Perth, you can go and watch the Rugby Union. You can watch the Rugby League now, and you can go and watch the Aussie Rules. And you've got Perth Glory in the soccer. You've got the the best of everything. You got the Wildcats and the basketball. You got all the teams over there, and they're coming in 2027, guys, in a couple of years' time. I think Papua New Guinea's coming into the competition as well, and there's still another spot up for grabs. And I would like to see a South Island and New Zealand team come in. Got the New Zealand Warriors are based out of Auckland. I'd like to see a team based out of Christchurch on the South Island, New Zealand. I think that's where we need to go, or a Pacific Island team. Maybe have a Pacific Island team based out of Christchurch. I don't know. Here we go. That poll. Was Latrell too sneaky? No, everyone reckons that. No, not everyone. Some people are saying 41% said, yeah, it was a bit too sneaky from Latrell, probably not on. It was within the rules of the game, but it wasn't. Was it within the spirit of the game? It's a bit like Johnny Bairstow's stumping in the cricket, wasn't it? The Aussie stumped him. Bit of me says, no, that's not on. He shouldn't have done that. But it was within the rules of the game. So, no, 59% of you reckon Latrell was fair game. And it was Broncos. That'll be a wake-up call for them. That for Michael Maguire, he'll show them that and go, don't ever switch off until the full-time hooter's gone, until the final whistle's gone. Do not ever switch off like that ever again. That little thing that Latrell did to the Broncos, right on full-time, might be just the spark the Broncos need to put a rocket up their ass. I don't know. We'll see what happens, eh? Got to play the whistle. Jace, yeah, absolutely, mate. Rob the Wanderer saying a new stadium will be ready in Christchurch next year, so bring on a Christchurch NRL team. Absolutely. I think South Island, New Zealand, we've got to have another team over in New Zealand. Do they call it the Pacifica something or others, the Pacifica Headhunters, or I don't know. But have a Pacifica team based out of Christchurch, or do we just have a normal South Island, New Zealand? If Phil Webber was on, it'd be interesting to see. Jeff Keane, how are you? Happy Mother's Day to all the mums. Absolutely, Jeffrey. Absolutely. Jeffrey, I might, just to upset you. Jeff doesn't want any LNP kind. Mate, I don't go for the LNP party. You know that. I don't follow either of them. And the way it stands at the moment, I'd rather elbow in. We'll talk about this later. I'd rather elbow in than the LNP at the moment because they're in disarray. They've got no leadership. The LNP party's got no leadership. The Labor Party is more structured. There's not a lot of infighting. No one's in there trying to backstab elbow. So I'm kind of, now that the election's over, I'm kind of glad elbow is in rather than a disjointed LNP party. Okay, so, but anyway, we'll talk a bit about that later. I don't go for either big team. Jeff, you know that. I'm a Catter supporter, mate. I hate both of them. Albo's got some good points and he's got some bad points. Dutton had good points. He had bad points. There's pros and cons for everyone, mate. Bob Catter's got some good points. He's also got some bad points. All right, I don't agree with everything Bob Catter says or everything that he's mad. He's mad and he's a bit embarrassing at times, but he goes into bat for us up here in North Queensland, and that's why we keep voting for him. And they're trying to. Oh, no, we'll talk about it later. So, exciting news about Perth coming in. I'm so glad Perth's coming in. I still don't believe Papua New Guinea should be in the NRL. In the Queensland State League, yeah, have the PNG Headhunters are in the thing. I don't think that was a political thing from Albanese, and that was solely to do with keeping China out of Papua New Guinea. That was a political thing. That was to keep China out of Papua New Guinea, guys. That NRL deal. That is their national game up there, Rugby League. They love it. They are fanatical about it. I've lived up there in Port Moresby. They are fanatical about Rugby League. And that was totally a political thing. Part of me goes, I know why they did it. It was to keep China out of there. So there's a bigger thing at play than just the NRL. All right, we don't want China right on our doorstep, guys, because they'll screw the PNG people over. They really will. First launch, I'm not sure what Jennifer's talking about there. So anyway, that's the footy. let's hope the 20th team is a South Island, New Zealand. Where do you think? I don't know how to do a poll. Where do you think? Put it in the comments, everyone. If you follow rugby league, so we've got 17 teams at the moment. The 18th team's going to be Papua New Guinea team. 19th team's going to be the Perth Bears. Where's the 20th team? Where's the 20th team coming from? Mid-North, mid-coast or New South Wales, Adelaide, or South Island, New Zealand? Geelong? Blackers reckons Geelong? No. Is there room for another team in Melbourne? Maybe. Fiji? Greggy Campbell saying Fiji. Well, Greg, what about a Pacifica team based out of the South Island and New Zealand? A Pacifica, Fiji. Have a look how many Polynesians. Over 50% of the NRL now is Polynesians. And shouldn't just say Polynesians because Fijians are Melanesian, but just Islanders. New Zealand for sure, the Wanderer saying. New Zealand fan base is just massive and so passionate. Yeah, absolutely, Rob. Absolutely. Where was that was down in I was going to say Rob, we were at the Broncos game last night, but that was in Sydney, I think. Hey, new Pope, guys. Won't talk too much about this. An American is the new Pope, and his name was Robert something or other. No one will ever remember what his name was in 12 months' time. Pope Leo the 14th, and he's originally from America, and he did about 20 years in Peru. Okay, doing Christianity and Catholic stuff down in Peru. South America being a very, very Roman Catholic Christianity sort of play, the whole of South America. A lot of Roman Catholics and that down there. So, Pope Leo the 14th. So congratulations to him. And he's 69 years old. So he's not like he's 79, nearly 80, and how long have they got to go? They've picked a younger man as Pope. So hopefully he'll be around for a long time. And I'm sure he'll do a good job. So, an American. That's a first. So our last three popes, Pope Benedict, I think, was German. Then we had Pope Francis, was Argentinian. He was the only one from the Southern Hemisphere. They've gone back to the Northern Hemisphere now, but non-European, a non-European, an American. And he can speak about 6 languages, guys. English, obviously. Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, French, and Latin. My goodness. How do you... And I think to be Pope, you probably need to be able to speak a few languages. Well, he speaks heaps of them. So congratulations to Pope Leo the 14th. We'll just know him as Pope Leo. His real name's Robert something or other, from America. No one ever. So they don't go by their Pope Robert or whatever. They pick a Pope Leo. It's obviously a Christianity name that he's picked from somewhere. So they get to pick what name they want to be known as. So Pope Leo the 14th. Has there been 13 other Pope Leos, has there? I guess popes have been going for a long time. That's right. Mike's saying he's from Chicago. So now he's da Pope. Not the Pope, da Pope. So they obviously say da instead of the in Chicago. That's where all the gangsters are from, doing that. I wonder if he speaks, Mike, does he speak with a gangster voice? Say hello to my little friend. Imagine him coming out, his first words out of his mouth, Pope Leo, say hello to my little friend. Oh, that'd be funny. Anyway, so we got a new Pope. Good on him. And hopefully Pope Francis is resting in peace. Up with the big fella. Now, any Victorians on? I love ragging out on the Vics, guys. All the shit that seems to happen in this country seems to come out of Victoria, doesn't it? If there's any Vics on, I'm not having a go at you guys personally. Yeah, I am. I'm having a go at your state, everyone. It's embarrassing to the rest of Australia, Victoria. Some of the politicians that come out of there, just incredible. There's another protest, as if they protesting about Israel and protesting about Palestine and protesting about this and that, and graffiti and war memorials and all that shit. Always seems to happen in Melbourne, doesn't it? The crap that happened with COVID. Victoria was the worst state out of all of them when it come to COVID. So the latest protest down there, can you believe this one? They're protesting that they don't want police anymore. They don't want police in Victoria. Can you believe it? Can you imagine? Can you imagine a world without police there? Can you imagine what would happen if the police weren't around? I know the Victorian police went overboard. They were acting on Dan Andrews's orders, guys. They were doing what the government was telling them to do. Yeah, they went overboard. I agree with that, the Victorian police. But they're out there protesting the other day, wanting to get rid of police. Only Victorians could protest like that. It's ridiculous. I just saw it and just shook my head. And the page I saw it on, they were ragging out on the Victorian, said this shit could only happen in Melbourne. And they're dead right about it, protesting that they don't want police in the state anymore. Or just let the bloody Crims run the state, eh? Dear, oh dear. Here's another one too. Indians down in Victoria again. Indians are demanding that Punjabi is taught in schools in Victoria. Let's get serious. Indians are wanting Punjabi to be taught in schools. That needs to be stamped out real quick. That needs to be stamped out by the Victorian Premier real quick and saying that will never happen. We speak English in this country. If you want to teach your kids to speak Punjabi, teach them at home. Teach them at home. When they're going to school here in Australia, they'll be taught English. End of story. This shit is starting to creep in, everyone. It's starting to creep in. It's starting to creep in, isn't it? We need to put our foot down. Now, the new Kia Tasman, Indians will be the majority of our population. Yeah, I know. The way we're going. Here, Jeff, get this one up, yeah? The way Albo is letting people into this country, yes, we will be. And that's one thing that he needs to address. He needs to slow down on immigration. He needs to slow it right down. Otherwise, our kids are never going to get into a house. They're coming in here, the Indians and the Chinese, and they're paying big money for houses, and our kids can't afford a house anymore. But he hasn't said anything about slowing immigration down. Not that I remember anyway. They're going to keep flowing in. They're going to keep flowing in, and very soon us Aussies will be the minority, which is pretty scary, isn't it? Have it as a second language option. Learned French when I went to school. Yeah, I learned French too in grade 8. I remember about 2 words of it, mate. It's useless. Teach them at home, mate. Teach English at school. Teach English at school. Maybe there is an option for a second language if I guess there's schools there that are Indian, but then they go around speaking that instead of English. They should, no, bugger it. Just teach English. Knows the answer to that one. That's what I'd be saying anyway. The new Kia Tasman, top of the range. What an ugly looking vehicle. What an ugly looking vehicle. I don't care what anyone. That is gross. That is shite. The top spec model, 74,990 before on-road costs. So you're looking around 80 grand. Someone said, oh, buck the 4 before was only 50 grand for the base model plus on-roads. So it's not a cheap vehicle, everyone. Going to be close to 80 grand for the top spec for the wild track version of the Ranger, like what Rob's got. Going to be nearly 80 grand for a brand new vehicle, fresh on the I thought they would have come out and tried to bloody do a real competitive price, Kia. Overpriced, ugly, underpowered. I don't think they're going to go real well. We'll see what happens anyway. Perth Bears, I've already spoken about that. Did anyone? I've lost my steel spike from my Aussie campfire kitchen thing, guys. I cannot find it anywhere. Rang up O'Brien's Creek Campground and spoke to Simon out there, and he said, mate, I remember you being out here with that. He said, no, I didn't see your spike near the fire when you left. So it must be here somewhere. I don't know if it's rolled under my drawer system in the four-wheel drive. I've got the torch under. I can't see it. I've hidden it. And next year, I'm going to hide my own Easter eggs, everyone. I cannot find. I was going to do all these cook-ups on the Aussie Campfire Kitchen over fire. Weather shit. I set the gazebo and everything up. I can't find the spike. I've ordered the new one. $75 plus 18 delivery, all because I've hidden it on myself and don't know where it is. Unbelievable. Geez, I was angry yesterday when I couldn't find it. I was fuming. Anyway, I cleaned my shed up too, and since I've cleaned my shed up, I can't find anything. Better off leaving it messy. Now, the other concerning things happening in the world, guys, India and Pakistan have kicked off as if there's not enough garbage going on in the world. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Israel, Lebanon, Israel and everyone else. Bloody China flexing their muscle and talking about invading Taiwan and that. Now we've got two nuclear powers starting to lob missiles on each other over Kashmir. They've always been at each other's throats, the Indians and the Pakistanis. This is concerning. They both possess nuclear weapons, and they're starting to get into it, guys. I reckon they should down their rockets, down their arms, and settle it with a good game of cricket. They're both cricketing nations, cricket fanatic nations. I reckon they should settle their differences with a game of cricket. What do you reckon? Here's a poll. Start a poll. I don't know if I've misspelled anything there. Start a poll. Should India and Pakistan settle it with a game of cricket instead of bloody going to war with each other? As I said, both nuclear nations, everyone. And pretty concerning, Pakistan guy come out the other day and said, if India uses nuclear weapons against us and doesn't want us to, we'll take everyone with us. So they're a Muslim country, Pakistan. Life probably doesn't mean as much to them as it does to us. And he's come out and said, we'll take everyone with us with nuclear weapons if we have to, if that's what it comes to. So when I start talking about nuclear weapons, it's getting scary. So India and Pakistan having a crack at each other. Now, something I've forgotten to do the last two weeks in a row is I was going to do a shout out to certain jobs. And I'm not going to do emergency services and nurses and all that. They get a shout out all the time. I'm going to do it to other little thing that no one really tends to think about. And someone the other day said, Buck, give the farmers a shout out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give a shout out to all our farmers out there. It doesn't matter what you farm, whether it's fruit and vegetables, sugar cane, bananas, bloody pumpkins, fruit and veggies. What would we do without our farmers, everyone? They work hard. They don't have a regular income. They rely for their income and to support their families. They rely on what they sell. And the way I see it, Coles and Woolworths, the two big supermarkets, are screwing our farmers over. They're screwing our farmers over. What needs to happen, Coles and Woolies, if you want to keep charging those prices, that's fine, but give more of the profit. I'd rather see rather than the fruit and veggies go down in price, I'd rather see Coles and Woolworths give more of a thing to the farmers. That's what I'd like to see. They do it hard. So to all the farmers out there, thank you for everything you do. Without you guys, we wouldn't eat. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. The banana dive bombers, they come out, Mike, and every time I do a clip, normally the old Stuka dive bomber comes out and starts bombarding the banana plantations. That's what you can hear. When I talk about the Stuka dive bomber, it's a crop duster, everyone, and he's spraying the banana farms, which are all around where I live. Banana farms everywhere. So, that's the quickest way to spray the bananas is from the air. That's why I didn't get a water tank. I thought, how much of that chemical is blowing onto the roof of your house. And then when it rains, all that chemical goes down into your drinking water. We're probably drinking it anyway out of the thing. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? When we spray all these chemicals on the bananas and all that type of stuff. You can buy organic bananas. If you ever wonder, you see the bananas, they got red wax on the end. You're probably thinking, what are those bananas? They're the organic ones, guys, that haven't been sprayed with chemicals. They'll be a lot more expensive. They are the organic bananas. You ever see the bananas with the red wax tips? They've been dipped in red wax. They're organic, okay? And unfortunately, organic stuff's a lot dearer, isn't it? Why, I don't know. They don't have to pay for all the bloody chemicals and all that type of stuff. Someone said something about deer meat for dinner. Big T, deer meat for dinner, sad news about Rob. Absolutely, mate. Robert Arrington. There's a YouTube channel. He's an American guys out of Florida. Robert Arrington, his wife Sarah, and they've got 2 young daughters. Forget their names now. But anyway, two little girls. And Rob's just had 2 strokes, everyone. 2 different types. One's I don't know. I don't understand much about it. But he's had 2 strokes, and it's pretty sad. I was watching him in hospital the other day, and his 2 little girls come in and give him a hug, and Rob's having trouble speaking, having trouble remembering things, and Sarah's going, can you say this word? And Rob's trying to say it, but he can't say it properly, just simple words. It's sad. It is really, really sad. So, yeah, let's hope Rob makes a full recovery from deer meat for dinner. And one thing that Stricken has from think of their name. They're Aussie. Az lives just down the road here from Innisfail. Az lives just down the road, and Stricken Fran from Back to Basics, guys. Stricken Az, they were over there and doing an alligator hunt recently with Rob from Deer Meat for Dinner. So, yeah, Stricken Az, as I said, Az lives just south of Innisfail, little place called The Pocket down there. And they were over there doing an alligator hunt with Rob Arrington. Can't have been too long ago, actually. It was one of the recent things. So, yeah, the Back to Basic boys went over and teamed up, one of our biggest YouTube channels, and they went over and teamed up with one of America's biggest hunting, outdoorsy type YouTube. Yeah, so, and that's what, speaking of alligators, Rob was explaining one day about how alligator hunting works in Florida to control the numbers, everyone. They got alligators there. Actually, they just found a massive alligator with human remains in it. Actually, I saw that on the news last night. Crocs are out of control in North Queensland and the Northern Territory. There is a bill going through at the moment which was introduced to Parliament, Queensland Parliament, by the Katter Party guys, by Robbie Katter. And they want to do sustainable control of crocodiles in this country. And Robert Arrington was saying about how you can't just go out and shoot crocodiles. You've got to have a permit to do it. You get a tag, and you can, over there, you get a pay for a permit. You can go out and shoot 2 alligators. You have to tag them, and there's a lot of strict rules around it. And that's what the Katter Party want to bring into Queensland, everyone, to try and get the numbers down a bit. They've been protected since 1971. They've got no predators. Crocodiles don't have any predators except for bigger crocodiles, and they're out of control. It's a no-brainer. I think so too, Blackers. We need to bring it in. That bill needs to be passed, and if it doesn't pass, it'll be because of all the dickhead Southerners down there, the politicians that don't have any clue. But that's what the Katter Party's in there doing at the moment. They're doing it properly. They're trying to tell everyone what a problem they are up here. There's more to crocodile than just having a tourist one boat on a river with tourists looking at crocodiles. They're taking cattle, they're taking dogs, they're taking humans. Okay, guy got bloody up in Cooktown late last year, walking with his family along the riverbank, and it collapsed. It was undercut from the recent floods, and by the time his wife could help him get out of the river, a big 4-metre croc came and got him in front of his children and his wife. That's the type of shit that happens up here. We lose a couple every year to bloody crocodiles. One happened at Hinchinbrook, not far from where I live, guys. He was in a bloody little yacht tender checking his crab pots, and he got dragged out of his boat by 2 big crocs. down near Hinchinbrook Island. He got dragged out of his boat. Mind you, it was the size of a bathtub. It wasn't real smart, but it was a little yacht tender, checking his crab pots, and I actually saw photos of the boat, and you could see where the croc had come up and bitten the boat. Anyway, there was a big male and a female euthanized over that with human remains in both of them. So Robbie Catter and Bob Catter and the Catter Party, Nick Demetto, Shane Knuth, they're trying to introduce a bill in Queensland for sustainable control of bloody saltwater crocodiles because they're out of control. We need to cull their numbers down a bit, everyone. As I said, a lot of people say, oh, they won't do anything until they start rocking up on the Gold Coast beaches and that. Then they might do something about it. I think the Catter Party will go hard on that. It needs to come in. It needs to come in. We'll see what happens anyway. All right, that's about all I've got to talk about this morning, guys. If you've got any questions or want to say anything, well, how long have I been on? 55. Wow. I'm running out of things to say. Mike Blake, here in Colorado, we have a huge hunting history. Everything hunted has state-issued permits. And they make a ton of money out of it. Yeah. And that's one thing. You can make money out of it, but all the hunting's got to be sustainable, everyone. It's got to be sustainable. They don't want to wipe crocodiles off the face of the earth. They just want to get the numbers under control. Best way to do that is to issue hunting permits. So we'll see what comes of it. We'll see what comes of it. Start selling the meat. Start selling the skin. The Aboriginal people can then go out and hunt them. And maybe it can be another food source for them. Okay? Go out, if you're up in Cape York and you've got a permit, knock a couple of crocs on the head and then give them to the local Aboriginal community. And they can tan the hide, make belts and all that type of stuff out of the hide and use the meat for food. So it's not just shoot them in the head and leave them. All right, it's got to be, and I'm sure this will come out in the bill, is how they want to do it. So, Blackers, see you, mate. Off to see Mum. Absolutely. Say happy Mother's Day to her, mate. I'm not going to be on much longer too. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Yeah. Everyone's off to see their mum. That's good to see. Why do they want bloody crocs in the first place, Frank? I don't know, mate. Probably tourism is another one. And that's something that would have to be taken into account is in the Northern Territory, the Adelaide River, they get the big crocs coming out. You wouldn't go in a small boat in the Adelaide River for quids because they're teaching crocodiles to come out of the water for food in those big boats. Just another ridiculous. Trophy hunters. Yeah, I'm not so much into trophy hunters. I'm not into trophy hunting and all that, especially over in Africa, mate, when you see them shooting giraffes and all that shit. I don't know. People say, oh, what's the difference between a giraffe and a crocodile? I don't know. They shoot elephants over in Africa to control their numbers, okay? As much as we don't like to see it, but crocodiles are just killing machines, everyone. They're killing machines. And we need to keep their numbers right under control. And that's what they do in Florida, in the United States. Slacken said, I've tried alligator. Tastes good. Have any of you had alligator and croc? I'm curious if they taste similar. I tasted crocodile once, mate. It was like a bloody inner tube, a truck inner tube. It was rubbery as buggery, and it's white meat. And I don't really like white meat. Yeah, you can get crocodile here. We certainly don't get alligator here. You can buy croc meat. Lorna saying I'm off to Mother's Day. Yeah, all right. I might get going soon too because I've still got breakfast out in the shed for me, so before it goes too cold. Poll. Don't forget the poll. Should India and Pakistan settle it with a game of cricket? I thought that would have been an 80. I thought that would have been 100%er, everyone. Only 85. 15% of you want to see nuclear war. That is concerning. That is concerning. That's how I reckon. India, Pakistan, if you're watching, settle it with a game of cricket, boys. That's the way it should be done. Yeah, so all the farmers out there, thank you for everything you do. Our butcher shop came second for our products internationally. The boss is on the way home from Germany. I saw something about that on the news that there were some Aussie butchers over there representing Australia. They came second. Good stuff. I did see that, Cole. I saw they were some of the stuff. They've got so many hours to do down a side of beef and then present it like it's in a not cooked in that, but just present it. Making sausage, making chops, some of the things they do are absolutely incredible. So the Aussie butchers got second in the world over in Germany. Absolutely fantastic. That'd be good to see. Hopefully there's some YouTube clips getting around on that. I watched a couple of butchers called the Bearded Butchers. They're over in Ohio somewhere, guys, and they show you all the different cuts of steak and all that type of stuff. Really interesting stuff. If you're a vegan, you probably wouldn't want to watch it. But, yeah, really good. They show you all the different cuts of meat, and sometimes they get a big side and they show you how they get the ribeyes out, take the bones off, and they get the ribeyes, and then they go out to the shed and crank the big Weber smoker up and cook them up on the thing. It's a really good channel. It's called the Bearded Butchers. If you're interested in all that type of stuff, that's a really good channel that I watch as well. I think the Indian Prime Minister is a fan of the Mr. Buckaroonie channel. Hopefully he's watching, Steve. Hopefully, what's his name? I know what he looks like. Hopefully Indian Prime Minister's watching, and he'll ring up the Pakistani Prime Minister or President, whatever they've got, and go, listen, mate, Mr. Buckaroonie has said we should settle this with a game of cricket. Buck says it's got to be a game of cricket. That's what it's going to be. So I'm sure he's watching, Steve, the Prime Minister of India. I nearly had his name, Modi or something. Prime Minister Modi. Slacken, I haven't read your big, long message yet, mate. I was going to start reading that, and I just ran out of time this morning. I'll read it when I have a cup of tea later on in the day. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get going. Hope you enjoyed the quick jibber-jabber this morning, only an hour long. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. Have a fantastic day. Bloody, if you haven't rung your mum or gone around to see her, make sure you do so. And as I said, for anyone in the chat room, guys, that has lost their mums, always think back to the good times, eh? It's it's bloody, we don't live forever, do we? That's the other thing I was going to say. We didn't end up going to Cooktown. The weather up there was rainy, windy, winds over 65 kilometres an hour in Cooktown, and I just said to Roz, we're not going up there, driving 6 hours to get to Cooktown to sit in weather like that. So we did get away for 3 days. We just went to Palm Cove, north of Cairns. I started filming. The weather was shit, and I just gave it away. So there'll be no clip coming out of that, guys. Wasn't worth filming. Windy, rainy, squally. We had a bit of fine weather too, but the ocean looked grey and horrible. White caps everywhere. It just wasn't your nice blue ocean. And I was going to go to Rex Lookout and show you all the beautiful scenery from up there. And it was just horrible weather. So not much we can do about Mother Nature. And it's still, there's a little bit of blue sky appearing. Hopefully this yucky weather's starting to break up, guys, because I've had enough of it. I had an absolute enough of it. Anyway, yeah, Pete's saying Beaker's saying it's putrid weather at the moment. If you're in Townsville next week, guys, the Townsville Camping 4-wheel drive show, I'll be on the Shady Gear stand. Make sure you come along and say good day. I'll be there helping Jean set up and whatever, and having a jibber with everyone at the Shady Gear stand. Probably have a hot dog in my hand and a coffee, sitting down doing very little, as I normally do. Yeah, the Pit Boys. I haven't seen them for a while, Mr. Donny. They're another good channel. They the Pit Boys, they look like ZZ Top guys. Remember the ZZ Top band with the big beards? That's what the Pit Boys look like. They are a good channel, the Pit Boys, and I haven't seen them for a while. I tell you what, I did see the other day is there's a big barbecue place, and I forget the name of it. It's in Perth somewhere, and they reckon it rivals some of the big barbecue houses in Texas, over in the United States. You should have seen the food. Briskets, beef ribs, pork ribs, all your side trimmings and that. Just, you can get a big platter for 4 people, and it's got ribs and brisket and all the sausages and all that. It's like one of those big Texas barbecue house things, and it's over in Perth. Next time I go over, maybe the end of the year or whatever, to see Macy and Lauren and Buzzy, Roz and I might have to try and suss out that place. It's only open one day a week, and you've got to line up for about 2 hours to get in there. So, but the food looked absolutely phenomenal. They've got about 16 massive smokers out the back for all their briskets and ribs and all that. They obviously got chefs there that work all night, and then during the day, people roll in and just have this like big Texas barbecue stuff. Oh my goodness. That's on my bucket list, is to go to that place. It'd be nice to go to Texas and do all that type of stuff. Mike, do you have all those smoke houses and that in not Oregon? I'm thinking of John. Colorado, mate, or is it only in Texas and places like that they have it? Or is it a big thing in Colorado as well, all those big smoke houses where you get briskets and all that type of stuff? Don't let the Texans hear you say that. No, mate. Well, this one in Perth, it looked phenomenal. And there was a guy there doing a YouTube thing, and he even said this will rival the big Texas ones. So it must be pretty good to say that. So there's a big meat smokehouse in Perth. Forget the name of it. I'm going to suss it out next time I'm in Perth. Roz and I might spend a few days in Perth before we go down to Busselton and see Lauren, and we're going to suss that place out. Get a big feed of beef ribs into me and some brisket. How good would that be? All right. Jennifer G say something about Jamie. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Footy on this afternoon. Storm and the Tigers. Manly Cronulla. Who's playing in the AFL? Who cares? I don't follow it. Sorry, all you Vics. And if you're one of the Victorians out there and you're out there protesting recently, the protest was about not having police officers in Victoria. If that ever happens, we'll put a big fence around Victoria and big laser cut it and let you float off down into the Bass Strait, and we'll bring Tassie up, and Tassie can join onto the mainland. Because Victoria, you have got issues. That state has got some issues, guys. It really has. West Texas and Western Australia are very similar climates. Mind you, mate, the southwest of Western Australia can get very cold and windy and all that in winter, and then you've got the Kimberley. There's a vast difference in Western Australia. It's the biggest state in Australia, and it's basically the whole third of Australia, the western side, from top to bottom, is all bloody West Aussie, mate. It's a massive state. I forget how many times. Queensland's about 2.5 times bigger than Texas. Western Australia must be about 6 times bigger than Texas. It's a massive state. It really is. But you need to go to Victoria and teach them how to drive. Yeah, no, they do those silly box turns, and they've got trams down there in the middle of the road. I don't think I'd like to drive around the middle of Melbourne. You look in your rear view mirror and you got to tram up your ass. So, yeah, I would know how to drive through Melbourne. And that's why when we took the ferry across Port Phillip Bay rather than drive up through Melbourne, because I did not want to take a caravan through the guts of Melbourne, let me tell you. Protesting is a state pastime in Victoria. Yeah, it's got issues, that state, hasn't it? It's disturbing, actually. Some of the shit that comes out of that state is disturbing, and it's embarrassing to the rest of the country. It really is. Our premier's on a tour of China. Is that Big T, you down in Victoria, eh? They Jacinta Allen or whatever her name is. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to talk about Victoria. They makes me angry. They play a silly game, and they got stupid politicians, let me tell you. Machete capital of the world. Yeah, well, we know why that is, Mr. T, isn't it? Mr. T. Big T. We know it's the machete capital of the world because of the types of people that they've let in down there. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Snowy River country is in Victoria. Yes, it is, Slacken. Victoria is a beautiful state, guys. Like, it is. The Great Ocean Road, Bairnsdale, and all the high country. It's a beautiful state to look at. When you're driving around Victoria, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful state. It's just that it's got some weird people down there, and it's got shit beer. As Jamie said, it's got the shittest beer in Australia. VB stands for vomit bomb or very bad. Vic Bitter is the worst beer in Australia. And another shit thing that comes out of Victoria. There you go. All the Vics will be throwing shit at their TV. See you later, everyone. I'm going to go out and have a big brekkie, Buck's Big Brekkie. I'm going to edit the clip up. It'll be up this afternoon. Doesn't take me long to edit a clip up on. I just use this iMovie thing on the iMac, and it's real. I don't put all the fancy shit in there. So anyway, catch you later. I'll go out and see if Roz enjoyed her big breakfast, and I'm going to go out and have some myself, and that'll probably do me for the rest of the day. If you haven't already done so, watch my lasagna soup clip. It goes for about 45 minutes. It's a long one. Boy, oh boy, I'll be doing that again. Give that a go. It's a one-pot wonder. Give that lasagna soup a go, guys. It's a bloody really, really nice. It really is. And there'll be a clip up on Buck's Big Brekkie for Mother's Day, probably this afternoon. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And bad luck to the Cowboys last night. If only they could put a field goal over, we could have beaten Penrith again. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums. See you later. See you, Lukey Reed, you diddly donk.